Hi everyone, I'm Eva from amomandhercar.blogspot.com and on Instagram at amomandhercar, and this is my 15th floss tube. So the first thing I need to do is apologize for the lengthy delay in getting a video out. I'm completely okay. Thank you so much for everyone who checked in on me. That was so nice of you. I really appreciate it. I don't know about you, but when the pandemic started, I went to work one day. It was a normal day, and I got a note that said, take all your stuff home. You're going to be working from home. And pretty much the same thing happened now that the pandemic's coming to an end and people in my area are really well vaccinated. So we've started going back to the office, and I got some new work responsibilities, and life just got kind of out of control. And I haven't done much stitching, so I not only did I not have time to make videos, but I haven't really had time to stitch. But my family just went on a great vacation. We went out to Vegas, and I pulled my stitching and took it with me, and I was able to really catch up and do some fun stitching and really relax. And so I feel back at it. And so I'm going to hopefully be doing these at a more regular cadence as I have updates and stitching to show you. So thanks for your patience with me. Thanks again so much for those of you that checked in on me. I really appreciate it. That's what I love about this community and why I do these videos. So thank you so very much. So it's almost 4th of July. We're having a little family party tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing some decorating, and we went to the store this morning. We'll be grilling out and doing some fun, hopefully more healthy. We're trying to be a little healthier now. We've realized we've gained some weight during the pandemic, so just working on that, but still fun and yummy things for tomorrow. So I'm really inspired by 4th of July, and I wanted to show you a few previous finishes. So this is Country Cottage Needleworks. These are their monthly cottages. Now I'm stuck, but it's in the notes below in the video, and this is July. This was one of my favorites. I think it is the colors. I used DMC. I did a stitch along with Happy Little Stitch Shop. So this is, I believe, 16 count. That's not 14 count. So I think it's 16 count Witchelt. Gosh, I'm so out of practice that I can't even remember what the color of the cloth is, but a pretty basic Witchelt 16 count, and I used DMC for this. Happy Little Stitch Shop, I think, does a stitch along annually with these, and they're great. Like, this is a perfect monthly stitch along. It was easy to keep up with, and I got all 12 done. And then I just bought this frame at, let's see, Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I can't remember. I think it was Michael's. And I've changed these out every month, so I don't have one each in a frame. So, and that's fine. It's not my favorite. This was done a long time ago, but it sits in my room and nobody sees it, so I'm not as picky. But when I change it out, I never get it even. So you can see here, it's not even. And I do it 2 or 3 times and try and use a little bit of adhesive that comes off easy because I do switch them out. So it's not perfect. Maybe one day I'll redo it, but I have so many completed stitches that aren't fully finished that need more attention than this one, and this one's fine and nobody really sees it, so it's just for me. So I'm not going to be too picky about it. The other thing I did, Fat Quarter Shop has something called Stitch Quarterly, and I was a member for about a year, maybe a little over a year, and it was perfect, especially if you're a beginner. They're meant for beginners. This is, I think, one of the first ones I ever finished. I didn't use the fabric that was in the Stitch Quarterly kit. Oh, as a matter of fact, it came in, I just happen to have this here. This is another project I'll show you in a minute, but it came in this bag. So you get a bag every time, and then the bag is filled with a pattern that you get before it's released externally, a needle, there's the fabric, and then there's some sort of thing that comes with them. Like, I got one of their stitch cards. I don't have it handy. But anyhow, they have a new sort of thing with it every month. And I've thought about rejoining because it is a great way to build up and have projects and have little doodads and things and tools that you need. But I have such a long wish list of patterns and things that I want that I may hold off. So I'm not sure. Anyhow, I got this Stitch Quarterly. I actually tea and coffee dyed some white 28 count Lugana, and I stitched mine on that instead. And I loved stitching on this, by the way. I should coffee and tea dye more 28 count Lugana. It is a nice, easy stitch. I don't need my magnifiers. I mean, they do make it a little they help a little, but really I can stitch just as easily on 14 or 16 count Aida as I can 28 count coffee tea dyed fabric. So this was a fun little stitch. Again, as you can see, I framed it myself. It's kind of cut off here. So this is another one that maybe I'll redo one year, but for now it's fine. It's fine for me. I like the blue in the frame. It's not perfectly center, but I'm okay with it. And then this one is a finish, but not fully finished. This is that same fabric I did the flag on just now. It's just tea coffee dyed Lugana. I can't remember where I ordered it from, or I may have even found it at Michael's. Actually, I think I did find it at Michael's. And I tea and coffee dyed it. I used Priscilla and Chelsea. They have a few videos, I think, showing you how to do it. It was super simple, and I'm not real handy either in the kitchen or crafty, and I was able to do it. And I love how it turned out. It's really nice to stitch on. This is Sam and Liberty by the Stitching with Housewives, Priscilla and Chelsea. This looks like DMC. I think the pattern calls for Classic Colorworks because that's what they stitch with. But I think I just used DMC, and I think it turned out nice. And I'm surprised I haven't finished this. I need to set some time aside to finish it. But what I love about this one, not only was it a fun pattern and I liked my tea coffee dyed fabric, but I actually stitched this on vacation last year. We did this epic road trip during the pandemic. We have a travel trailer, and so we went with some neighbors. We all had our separate travel trailers, so it felt very safe. None of us got sick. In hindsight, I don't know if it was safe or not, but at the time it felt like the safest way to travel. And we went up to the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone, and it was dozens and dozens of hours in the car and camping where there's no electricity and that sort of thing. And so I had all this time to stitch, and I started and finished it. So every time I see this one, I think of that trip, which is just amazing. Highly recommend that area. So those were my 4th of July finishes, and it was about this time of year when we went, so almost exactly a year ago. And so this is a great memory for me. So let me tell you what I've been working on. I think it's been a couple months since my last video, and I've only just now really found time to stitch. Like maybe here or there I found 30 minutes or an hour, but a lot of this is in the last 2 weeks, especially the last week when I was on vacation. So here you go. I love this pattern. I did pull this out. The other thing, since I didn't have time to stitch, I didn't set any goals for myself. Again, this is my hobby. I don't want to stress myself out. So I was like, I would go in my bucket of whips, and whatever sort of like seemed exciting to me or was easy to grab, that's what I did. So, and I'll show you a couple of, sometimes it was easy to grab and sometimes it was exciting, and I'll tell you the difference in just a minute. So Sweetheart Hill by Plum Street Samplers. This is a very fun pattern. I love, love, love stitching this. I will say I really love fill-in. So I like lots of fill-in, and this one has lots of fill-in. If you're somebody who doesn't like that, this might not be the pattern for you. Oh, my floss got kind of messy. I'm sorry. So I'm using, I believe, the called for, if not the called for, pretty close. Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Work. You can see my floss just got kind of messy sitting in the bag, but it's okay. Did I make any changes? I don't think I've made any changes on this one. I think this is just what it came with, except that if there was a missing color, whoever I ordered it from may have substituted for me, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And I did buy I'm stitching this on 40 count platinum, and I bought that from the Stitch Niche here in Arlington. That is my local needlework shop. So here's my piece of beautiful fabric. Always love stitching on platinum. And then here is where I am. So I hadn't even finished the hill. I had done this bottom part, I Belong With You, and I'd had a pretty good chunk of the hill done before I put this away for a long time. And then when I pulled it back out, I was able to I finished the hill and the last few flower outlines. I did this little stem, and the outline of that flower. And then this is the lady. So I'm getting to her dress. So that's fun. So you see, it's a lot of fill-in, and I haven't even gone to the house, which is the biggest piece of fill-in, but this is the kind of stitching that I like. First of all, I like using the over-dyed floss because you get the variegation. And then second of all, it's just, I will outline it and then come in and fill, and it's easy, like brainless kind of work. I'm sorry, my line's kind of strange today. I'm definitely out of practice. So I got all the way to the lady's skirt. I'll finish the lady, do some flowers, get the guy in there, and then all I got left is that big old house. So that is my Plum Street Sampler Sweetheart Hill. I'm just looking over at my notes to make sure that I'm going in order. Okay, the next thing I worked a teeny tiny bit on is my Madame Chantilly Spring Tiered Tray. This was a stitch along with, you see how out of practice I am? Evelyn Across the Pond on Instagram and on YouTube. I think she maybe was stitching winter, but she said stitch any Madame Chantilly. And so I chose Hello Spring. I love this pattern. I saw these and I kind of resisted because I saw that they were kind of big. So it is a bit of a commitment. As you can see, like here's my piece, and it will fit on here with maybe like what is that, a 2.5 or 3 inch margin. So it is pretty big. Let me see if I can find my paper that tells me exactly what I'm stitching on, or if I have managed to lose it over time. Looks like I've lost it. So I think this is, it's not, oh, here it is. I found it. It is flax. That's right. Flax from the Stitch Niche. It's 40 count flax from the Stitch Niche. So let me show you again. I may stand up and see if the lighting is any better here. But what I had gotten done, I'd had spring done, I'd gotten the tray done, and then I'd started on the bunnies. So I got the bunnies done, and then I started with this little bird house, bird feeder, and the little swings. And so that was a lot of fun. You see how cute that bunny is? I like the little details on him. So this is fun. I'm using DMC. That's what it's called for. And I don't know if you watch any of my other videos, I questioned. I was like, oh, maybe I should use Classic Colorworks. I was going to use bamboo or something, or I can't remember, on spring. And I tried both ways, and DMC is better. Or was better to me. So I loved it, and I decided to stick with it. So that was spring, my spring tiered tray. All right, let's see what is next. All right, this one I love, even though I've made a mistake, and that's why I put it away, because I was having a ton of fun with it. So this is Seeking Refuge by the Scarlet House, and I love the saying here, which is exactly why I stitch. When the world seems to be out of control, I find a way to nurture my soul, seeking refuge with my needle and thread, the angst and anxiety no longer I dread. So I'm going to probably hang this in here, even though it doesn't match 100%, but this is where I do a lot of stitching, and that is exactly why I stitch. I am stitching on Vintage Country Mocha, 40 count, and I am using all of the called for thread. I had to pause and think, but I'm using all the called for thread. Lots of greens and browns, pretty red. That white we're using a lot. This green right here is the green I'm using. Let me just pull it out here. Broom Tree is the one I'm spending a lot of time on right now. It's a really pale green, which you will see when I show you my piece here. So this is 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. This is about how big it will be. That black is all the way done, so I'll have a little bit of extra edge on this side. What I had done is this black on the bottom. Oh, you know what? I did change this black. The pattern called for, let me find this and show you. Let me tell you. The black called for maybe Anchor. Let's see. Huh. Why am I not finding it? Green with envy, cherry cobbler, beige. Oh, DMC 310. And then some people online were using the Anchor black because they thought it stood out better. I decided to change that to, what's it called? Black coffee with classic color work. And I am so glad that I did. So I kitted it with DMC 310, but then I switched over to black coffee. My light gonna mess with me? Yep. Sorry about that. And we'll fix that for next week. But I love the black coffee, and I'm so glad that I switched over. It's just kind of this like, I don't know, it's a little misty almost, a little see-through. And then the broom tree, that is Classic Colorworks too. That is what I've been working on. So I'd finished all of my black, which was quite an accomplishment. That's a lot of fill in. And then I got to this green. I'm just going to see if I can do anything about this horrible lighting. See if that works better. Now, here's what happened. And I was on a roll. Like, this was great. Every night I was stitching a little bit and making some good progress. And then I got here. And I found out that I have one too many stitches here in the black. So let's just say that's supposed to be 10 across. I don't know what it is. Instead of 10 across, it's 11 across. And why that's tricky is the green has those little things. And so I got to figure out where to correct. I'm obviously not going back and picking my black out. So I'm just going to correct somewhere. And so when you look at the pattern, I will just have a teeny tiny bit longer piece somewhere. It didn't mess up any of the flowers. I managed to get those okay, so that's good. But it is going to be just one row longer in the black, in the green, and in that little white across. And so it may throw me off for a little bit, which is why I put it away, because I just need fresh eyes to make a good decision on how I'm going to correct for that. So that will be fun. I still love the pattern. I'm not even upset about it. I just was like, let me not make a 9 o'clock at night decision on this one when I'm tired and have been working all day. Instead, let me pick this one up with fresh eyes and make that decision later. So I am going to be participating along with the Fat Quarter Shop Jolly July. So as I understand it, that is a partnership. I don't know if it's a real partnership. Anyways, Fat Quarter Shop and Stitching with the Housewives stitch Christmas in July. And I did that, I'm pretty sure I did it last year, at least a little. And so this year I was like, oh, why not? I'd had this one sitting in my whips for a while. This is My Christmas List by Silver Creek Samplers. And I decided to go and do this. And when I kitted it, I decided Priscilla Blaine at Stitching with the Housewives has stitched this differently. So she chose different cloth and she chose different colors. And so everything I'm doing is inspired by her. Now, her colors, I think, are on her blog. If I find them, I'll put them in the notes below. But she's been very public about them, so you can go find them on her YouTube, and I'm pretty sure it's on her blog. And mine are inspired by hers, but they don't match hers exactly. So I'm trying to keep up with that. Basically, I'm just using a picture I have of hers, and then I'm pulling what I can. So, for example, I didn't tea and coffee dye this myself. This is Picture This Plus Nessie, much bigger piece than I need, which is fine because I will use this for other things, but it's a very pretty, somebody hand dyed this, but not me. It's a very pretty blue that I thought was close to her blue colors. And you can see when you look at these colors, and hers are even better than mine because, she's really good at that. They pop much more. So they're much bolder than the original pattern called for. I think this is pretty, but when I saw I'd had this pattern, and then when I saw Priscilla Blaine's, I was like, oh yeah, that's how I'm going to kit it. So this is 32 count Nessie too, which is great. This was a great vacation piece, and I picked it on purpose because 32 I can see without my magnifying glasses. Now, my reading glasses help because 32 is a little small, but it's much easier than, 40 count or 36 count. So I started this on the plane to Vegas to our vacation. I did mess up the letters first right out of the box, which is fine. And so I had to pick C-H-R-I and S, I think. But then once I got that corrected, everything else was fine. I think I got quite a bit done because this isn't the only thing I worked on vacation. The letters go really fast. These little designs do take time because there's actually a lot of little colors in there. So like I'm working on this angel right here, and she has a black and a peachy color and a white, and then she has other colors that I'm just now getting to. So those little things take a little longer. The little stars took a little longer, but the words go by really fast and they're fun to stitch. So let me tell you what I'm using. I think Priscilla Blaine might have used black for these letters, and I was just trying to match it. But then when I was picking my colors, probably at the Stitch Niche, I think I did this in person if I remember correctly, I saw this black crow by the Gentle Art, and it is really dark, but oh, I think you can see it right there, but it's actually navy. So it's a pretty blue, and I loved how these two looked together. So it is a very, 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 very dark blue, kind of like my shirt, but so it kind of gets the feel of the black that she chose, but it's blue, and I really like it. Then for my white, I'm using bamboo, which is probably what Priscilla used, because I know she uses bamboo a lot. I could be wrong, but I know she does. And then the yellow, I chose honeycomb, Classic Colorworks honeycomb. It's a real pretty yellow. You know, when I saw this on the thread, it looks a little, I don't know what the right word is. It looks a little too gold and not quite bright yellow enough, but I really liked it on the pattern. I think it matches really well. For the red, I would have used licorice red, but I can't find any. Can y'all find licorice red Classic Colorworks? I actually I'll tell you more about this in a minute, but I got to go to Stitcher's Paradise when I was in Vegas, and they didn't have it either, and they had tons of thread. So if you're in that area, their thread supply was great. And now I also just remember when I saw this, I ordered the original threads, DMC threads, to match the pattern just as called for when I originally ordered this. So I am going to have some extra floss, which is nice. But I'm using DMC 304 for the red, and it's actually still really pretty. I was kind of disappointed at first that I didn't have that licorice red, but I think it's nice and bright. So you can kind of see it there. And then I'm using Perfect Pie Crust for the little face of Jesus in the basket, and I guess it's the angels. I'm not sure, but I'm using it there. And that is the only colors I have gotten to so far. So I'll just go, I'm just taking that picture, and as I pull up the next one, I pick a color that matches hers pretty closely, unless I see something and I'm inspired, like that black crow with a little bit of navy that I thought was really pretty. So that one's been a lot of fun for me, and that's part of my Jolly July, so I'll keep kind of plucking away at that. Then this one. Now, let me just tuck this chart in so I don't lose it later. I had decided a while ago to keep a project in my husband's car. So when we're driving around, like, you know, on the weekends running errands, or in the morning he drives to where we work out. And so I have it there. And so I always have something and I can pull. And sometimes like in the morning, I time myself the other day, or I sort of paid attention. I did 3 stitches on the way to where we work out because it's really close, but it's 3 stitches that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And I'm short on time these days. So this is what I chose. It is Mistletoe Lane. This is an It's So Emma from Fat Quarter Shop PDF. I think this was a mystery sale last year, if I remember correctly. And I'm not I don't even think I started. Like, I think I got, it was probably for Jolly July last year, actually. I don't want to show the pattern, but it probably says on here. I think Fat Quarter Shop did this as a mystery sale for Jolly July last year, and I tried to participate, and I got started and then got distracted. So I chose this one because it's one I'm just kind of behind on. I never pick it when I go to my whip basket. I'm like, oh yeah, one day I'll get to that. And it is, I think this is 25 count fabric, 25 count Lugana. And I cannot remember what the color is. Let's just see. Zweigart Overcast. That's exactly what it is. I used the call for it. Zweigart Overcast blue. It's a blue color. And I had gotten this done you know, before I put this in the car, I'd gotten the Merry Christmas, the pink, and some of the garland, only the darkest green of the garland. See, there's 2 colors of green there. And so since I've had it in the car, I finished the garland. I did the inside light green of the leaves. I did the red berries on the garland. This is a pink chimney, and I'm almost finished with this stocking. So I'll show you again. You can see what that stocking looks like, and then I'll move to the house. So I'm actually kind of plucking away at it. I'm using DMC. Is it called? There's DMC called for. It's charted in Weeks Dye Works and DMC. Ooh, this is really messy. I was just stitching on it in the car actually when we were running an errand. And all of a sudden there was a spider crawling across my piece and across my hand. And I may have overreacted and had my husband pull over, and I shook it out, and I shook it so much that the needle fell out. Like this, I had this parked, and the needle, everything fell out because I just shook it. But the spider is living now happily in a field wherever we pulled over, and I'm happy because he's not on me. Anyway, so I am kind of plucking away at it, and this is one that would just be sitting in my whip thing right there, that little file folder. But now I'll be in the car, and I'll stick a stitch in my purse too if we're going somewhere, like anywhere we go, I have something. But then this is just here. It's an easy, quick stitch. I don't have to pay too much attention because it is 25 count, which is like, what, 12.5 count? The poles are big. I don't need any glasses. Oh, I was just thinking this. I do kind of wish I'd done this one in the called for Weeks Dye Works or switched to Classic Color Works, because there's so much filler stuff here. Everything's really big. I think I could have gotten nice variegation. So if I hadn't already, you know, I'm like 20% done, maybe a quarter of the way done. If I hadn't gone that far, I might start over, but I'm not going to. And I might turn this into a pillow. I don't know. We'll see. So that's more Jolly July, Mistletoe Lane. So I'll keep plugging away at that one. And then this one that I'm so far behind on. This is my Spooky Hollow. So those of you who've seen my videos before, this is I was doing one of these a month. This was kind of my I started this last fall, so I would have been done this fall, but now I'm behind. It's my big Spooky Hollow. And there are 12 of these, I think. I think they're 12, and I'm on number 7. And it's the Sweet Shop. So I had already started. What I had done was the gravel. That's the first thing I do when I get these patterns. I get one a month from Happy Little Stitch Shop as a stitch along. I'd already done the gravel. I had done this little ghost guy and this little skeleton, and I had started the purple. This is Plum Paisley of Classic Color Works, but I'd only gotten about halfway. So I've gotten the rest of this done. I'm really almost done with the Plum Paisley. Then I will do the little candy, the roof, and then there's some decorations here. I'll show you with the pattern. Now, I was supposed to finish that one, I think, in March. We'll see, because I have the extras here. So here's number 7, the Sweet Shop. And it is kitted with Classic Color Works and DMC. And I started this with DMC and then quickly switched over to Classic Color Works because of exactly what I just said. I wanted that variegation that you can't see because my lighting is horrible. But if you look, so the first house I used DMC, there's no variegation. And then I switched over and you can start to see it, that one. Then on this one, I tried something different. I'm stitching with 2 strands, and this is 18 count Hazy Gray Fabric Flare, the piece. And really, I think I should be using 1 strand. And so but I didn't realize that. I don't know, I'd never used such a small Ada before. And so I started with 2, it looked fine. I kept going with 2. But then I did Dracula's Coffin in 1, and it is kind of spooky. It's see-through. So I was like, I don't know. It's a little more see-through than I would like. However, it's easier to stitch with 1, which with 2, and I was just having that struggle, it's just real thick and sort of, I don't know, hard to stitch with. But I'm already kind of committed. I might do 1 or 2 more of these with just 1 strand because I think it does have kind of a cool spooky look. But Yes, I'm behind. So here is my next one, number 8. This one actually might go fast. It is the cemetery. So very cute with Frankenstein. And then number 9 is the barbershop. So I have these ready to go and I can just keep stitching on them. And then I think there's an invoice in my inbox for number 10. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to check that out and pay, like Happy Little Stitch Shop probably wants me to, so that that one can be on its way to me. So that is my Happy Little Stitch Shop. I will just keep plugging away at that probably today. Actually, I'll probably spend a good amount of time on that one today. So now let me tell you, I do have some new cross stitch supplies because I'd ordered some stuff and never gotten around to it. And then I got to visit Stitcher's Paradise. So, excuse me, just a quick drink. Let me show you what I have. I intentionally, so I've been doing this stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. This is the Country Cottage Needlework sample of the month. You can never see this. It's very small, but this is the next one. June sampler of the month. And I wanted to show you how they set us up for success. So when we first joined this stitch along, they sent us, I'm doing mine in 32 count witch hilt, I think is what this is. I know it's witch hilt. I can't remember if it's 32 count. It's the linen version. And they had sent us something just like this in our first pattern. And then every month we just got a pattern. And now that it's June, we ran out of, actually had a little left over, but we basically ran out of cloth. So they sent us another big piece, and I intentionally didn't cut it because I wanted to show you. This is enough to do 6 more of those sampler of the month. So I have June. I think July's on its way to me. I kind of thought I had it, but I think it's actually on its way to me. And June is super cute. Looks like a little beach house with some strawberries and a little picnic basket. I know you're not going to be, well, maybe you can see a little bit there, a little picnic basket. So that's June. So I need to start this. This does take me, you know, a good full weekend of full stitching to do. So I need to do that because I'm behind a little bit. So I might as well at least keep up with one of my stitch alongs, but I just need to cut my fabric. I'm going to flash this. I don't know. I try to be really careful with intellectual property, like not showing patterns or giving other people's thread patterns away. So I'm just going to flash this, but they have this really nice card stock, and they tell, I think this is okay. They tell you what's included here. Everything they do is just like very classy and professional, I guess, which is good because they're a business, right? But then on the back, they tell you exactly how to cut it. I'm just gonna flash. I don't know if that's protected or not, but just in case, it's very helpful, especially for somebody like me, who, if I had cut this myself, there's no way I would have gotten 6 pieces out of it. At least 6 full usable pieces. So I'll get to cutting that and moving that along hopefully soon, maybe this weekend. Then I just ordered some extra stuff from Fat Quarter Shop. What I was wanting to order was Lori Holt's Flea Market Flowers Cross Stitch. I think this is gorgeous. I was going to join the stitch along, but obviously did not. I ordered the DMC. Again, I'm going to trust the designer on this one, and the pieces are so small that maybe the variegation doesn't matter. I did get a piece of 40 count, I think vanilla from Stitch Niche. I don't have it handy, or I'd grab it. And so, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So I will get that started. I got a second one for a giveaway. And actually, I think this is the giveaway that we will do today. So stay tuned to the end and we'll do this giveaway. Then I just saw this pretty thing on Fat Quarter Shop, Stacy Nash Primitives Be Kind sampler. Oh, I think I've been seeing this in places like Nicole's Needlework and Brendan the Serial Starter. I think we're doing this one. And I like the little saying. It says, be kind to one another. This is a world of care, and there is enough of needful woe for everyone to bear. So I just thought that was sweet. And then I might stitch it on this. This is 36 count Edinburgh linen parchment. So it's kind of greeny. I don't know if you can see that. And I thought that was close. The call for here is 35 count weeks dye work cocoa. So no, not the same thing. But this is kind of greenish, which means, and the call for all weeks dye works. colors. So I probably will take this up to the Stitch Niche and look at these colors on it, the Weeks Dye Works, and then just see. But this is going in my kitted, well, not quite kitted, but almost kitted pile. I won't get to that for a while, as behind as I am. And let's see what else I have in here. Oh, I know what this is. This is the DMC for the flea market flowers, but they didn't have everything. However, I heard that Hobby Lobby? Is it Hobby Lobby? I think it's Hobby Lobby is having a sale on their DMC. It's one of those too low to publish, but I saw on Facebook or Instagram or something that's like 42 cents a skein. So I'm going to take this and get more DMC. Well, I won't take this in store. I get nervous about that, but I'll write down the colors that I still need and get the rest of the flea market flowers DMC. So I have a really light piece of 40 count. It's called Vanilla. It's really, really light. And then I have my DMC and my pattern, and I'm ready to go. And I'm actually really excited about that one. So that may be an August start. I don't know. Maybe who knows? Maybe I'll start today. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants now. So the other thing, I think this is the last thing I have for you. So I went to Stitcher's Paradise. I don't know what this is, but we'll look at it. I don't think that's stitching related actually. And this is a picture from a show that we went to. But I asked them, I said, well, they had some pretty project bags. I'm like, well, do you have anything with your logo on it? She's like, oh, we may have some in the back. So she went and she got that. So I bought this project bag. And then on the inside, oh, I know what this is. This is an ornament from the Hoover Dam. We were there the second day that the Hoover Dam was really open. I guess you could have driven down there and parked and looked, but the visitor center wasn't open. The gift shop wasn't open. So we were there on the second day. So I got this little Hoover Dam ornament. Then we went to a comedy magic show. The comedy magic show. We had a lot of fun. My mom and aunt and stepdad were there as well. And then the thing you really care about, Stitcher's Paradise. What I got. So the first thing I got, I have almost all of these hands-on design and Priscilla Blaine chalk full patterns. I have them almost all, and I've done some. I've done Hop, I've done the Boo one. I just finished the fall one with the sunflowers. And I have Mary Chalk full kitted up. And I do want to start that for Jolly July this week. Or this month. And so I saw this one. I was like, oh, I'm going to grab it. It was like on top of a pile. This one looked pretty, and probably because I was in a 4th of July mood. And I'm kind of going back and forth. I went ahead and got some 28 count casual linen. Like this is black. I've done the others on the chalkboard, 14 count. And I actually think I have enough chalkboard to do this one. So I might just switch it to that and keep the casual because I'll definitely use that on something. And then I got the floss for that in here. Just thrown in here. I think it was licorice red. Okay, I'm sorry. I totally lied to you earlier. There was one licorice red left. I needed 2 licorice reds. There was one left. And then the Really Tealy, the Frosted Sage, the Chalk, and the Steamed Broccoli. These were all with Liberty. And then, like I said, who knows if I'll do the casual linen or if I will actually just use the chalk full that I already had in my stash. And honestly, I probably have all these colors except the licorice red, which I'm having a hard time finding. Now I'm doubting myself. Is that the red I was looking for? Licorice red? Who knows? This was the last licorice red. She didn't have any more. And then I went somewhere else and I couldn't find it. So now I'm just confused. I'm not trying to lie to you. I'm just confused. Then I saw this one. And anybody who's been watching for a while, you know I have a problem about stitching Halloween. I love stitching Halloween, probably because it's one of my favorite holidays. And I saw this and it was so cute. It's called Boo by what? Keslin's. I'd never heard of it, but I saw it on the wall. It had been stitched on the wall, and I don't know if you can see it. This little cat has glowing eyeballs, which are these Mill Hill beads. So I got the Mill Hill beads. The cat has glowing eyeballs, and you can't see this here, but in the model you can see it. The tree has some eyeballs too. And I think it's just the fabric caught my attention. And then I told you I like fill-in, so this is one color. I did not get the called for. The called for color is something I never heard of. Excuse me, Planet Earth. I never heard of Planet Earth. If you have, tell me about it. But the nice lady helped me just pick Black Licorice by Gentle Art. It's just a very nice solid black color. And they did have the fabric that was called for, which is 32 count Belfast Tempest. So that's pretty cool. It's picture this plus. I wasn't expecting to get the exact fabric that it was called for, which is really neat. And then when you put the Black Licorice on top, it's going to look really pretty. So I'm excited about that. And it doesn't look like it wasn't a very big stitch. It's 32 count, which is a little more manageable. And I have 1/4 yard for this. I'm definitely not going to use that much. So now I got to find something else cool to put on this really neat picture this plus fabric. So all in all, I'm very happy to be back at it. I'm just looking at my notes over here. In 2021, I now have 16 starts. I'm trying to get that in the 20s, just have lots of choice and things to pick from. Sorry, I'm trying to get my whips in the 20, and I have 11 whips, and I'm trying to get that to about 20, so I have lots of things to choose from. 16 starts in 2021, 11 whips. I have 9 kitted up now. Now that includes the June sampler of the month and the 2 extra spooky hollows. I count those as 1, so it's not even as many as it seems. So, but I do need to start like getting into the things I've kitted and adding those to my whips, which will be great, and have 9 2021 finishes. So those are my stats, and then I'll just show you, I'll flash up a picture and show you sort of my percentages and how close I am to completes on my different whips here, and then we will do our giveaway, and that is all I have for you today. So our giveaway last week, I forgot it, so I'm just going to push pause and go grab it. 1 second. Okay, so our giveaway in the last video, which I think I said last week, but it was like 3 months ago. So hopefully you all are still watching, but I will hold on to this for a few videos to make sure I get it to the winner. This was the 2021 Prairie Schooler Santa. I've never done a Prairie Schooler. I have 2 or 3 of these in my stash, not completely kitted, but just the pattern so far. And I want to turn these into different size pillows, so stitch them on different count fabrics and just, scraps or whatever. So this is I will start a Prairie Schooler Santa during Jolly July. I don't know which one, maybe this one, and just work my way backwards or something like that. And then I think I have like 2013. I have some random years. So anyways, this was the giveaway. Sion Parrington. I probably just said your name right. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's Sean. Please correct me in the comments. It's such a cool name. But I did flash your name up here so you can see it and know who we're calling. But if you send me an email, my email's in the notes below, I will get this mailed out to you, and congratulations. And then, like I said, our giveaway this week is the Flea Market Flowers from Lori Holt. So maybe we can start this together in August. So in order to be eligible to for the drawing for this, please like the video, make sure you are a subscriber, and then in the comments, just catch me up in the world of stitching. What's new, what's exciting, what stitch-alongs are you doing, what hashtags should I be following, like what should I know about now that I've been missing for 3 months in the world of stitching? What's the favorite thing you're stitching on? Even if it's not new, it can be an old thing, but just catch me up. Make sure that your comment says flowers. It doesn't have to make sense. You can just make a comment catching me up and then say flowers, and that's fine, but that's what I'll search for. I'm going to try to do another video in 2 weeks, so try to get your comments in soon. I probably won't do one before 2 weeks. I might do one after 2 weeks, but to be safe, get your comment in before, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that. So like that Friday night, just be sure your comments are in. I think that's all I have for you. So I have my 4th of July family. We're doing like an old-fashioned 4th of July party with games and probably swimming and grilling and things like that. I'm going to keep stitching. I'll probably stitch more on my Spooky Hollow today, and I would love to just at least finish the candy shop, so that I can move on to the next one. I'm off Monday, so more stitching then. I'll try to start a new something, maybe a prairie schooler, who knows, something new, and then just basically kind of catch up with life. So I'll be stitching the next 2 weeks and hopefully have some good progress to show you. I've got some orders to make. I might do a trip to Stitch Knit, so maybe I'll have some new things to show you. So anyhow, it's so good to be back. Thank you all for checking on me, and we'll see you in a few weeks. All right, bye y'all.